Hello and welcome to Midwest Writers Room. Our mission is to encourage, educate, and celebrate writers of the Midwest. I'm Luella Schmidt.
And I'm Ken Humphrey. Today's chapter break episode features Agnes Patenaude, aka writing as Olivia Karimi Jones, and her latest publication, Scarred But Not Broken.
Olivia is a Kenyan American author, psychiatric nurse, and passionate advocate for resilience and healing. Her powerful debut memoir, Scarred But Not Broken, chronicles her extraordinary journey from poverty and trauma to education, motherhood, and personal restoration. Olivia writes with unflinching honesty, weaving emotional depth with cultural insight and inspiring readers to confront pain with courage. She now lives in the Midwest where she balances her writing, work, and mental health, and her most cherished role being a mother.
So let's take a look at this book. Scarred But Not Broken is the deeply moving memoir of a young girl born into hardship and abandonment in rural Kenya. Olivia recounts her turbulent childhood, the loss of her parents, and her struggle for survival amid rejection, poverty, and betrayal. Yet, through every setback, she clings to education and hope. Her journey spans continents, from the Kenyan villages to American cities, ultimately revealing the power of love, motherhood, and faith in oneself. More than a personal story, this memoir is a universal testament to the strength of the human spirit.
Wow, sounds fantastic. Olivia, thank you so much for being with us. Welcome to Midwest Writers Room. How you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you, both of you. I'm honored to be here. This book means the world to me. It's my life on paper, and I hope it speaks to someone who needs a reminder they are not alone.
Okay, perfect. And that kind of leads into, the first question we generally ask during these chapter break episodes is what prompted this story? What was the seed that you planted to bring this story to life?
Well, yes, that's a good question, Ken. This book has been growing inside me for many years. I lived through so many painful, complex experiences, abandonment, and also lost to, for loss for survival. And for a long time, I didn't even realize they were part of my bigger story. But the moment I held my daughter in my arms, I knew I had to tell this. Writing was both therapy, testimony, and I wrote this to reclaim my voice and to show that scars can carry beauty too. I hope
That
I
no,
hope
that's a
that.
great explanation. And I'll be honest, even right up front here, I
Yeah.
can hear just this lyrical quality in the way you speak, and assuming that that comes through in the way you write. I mean, I don't know. I like the way you phrase things. So
Thank you.
good
Thank you
for
so
that.
much. Yeah.
So let's take a second to talk about your pen name then. Quite often authors, when they pick pen names, there's some significance to the choice in that pen name that they've selected. Care to share with our listeners the significance of your pen name?
Yeah, that's very good question. Yeah, so I use my pen name Olivia Karemi Jones. Since was the memoir was basically my life, my painful stuff. I thought I just didn't want someone to recognize me somewhere and or my neighbor or something like that. Remember me all the time. But the fact is, I use my pen name also connect the story. So the last name is my dad's name, and the middle name is actually my tribal name that I have, and the first name is my daughter middle name. So I thought the connection really connected with my story, and it kind of strengthened how I feel. So my pen name is also related to me in some way, and I'll I think I'll keep it. I love it. I chose that myself.
I like that thread of logic. It's just that interconnectivity. Some
That's
great
funny. I
thought.
was thinking the same word, Ken, almost. I was thinking about the way you weaved the name that is so close to the story itself. I thought that was neat.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So we have to jump into the topic of publication. And while it never really gets easier, I think, for a lot of authors, unless your name is, Stephen King or somebody. It's especially a hurdle for new writers, debut authors. So if you can, talk us through what your path to publication was like.
Oh, well, that's a very good question. It was long, emotional journey for me, being the first time I'm putting pieces together. So I wrote much of it in pieces between work, motherhood, and had no roadmap. Just, calling to finish. Eventually, I found Palmetto Publishing after I browsed for so many publishing, and they were taking so long. But since I started the story, I wanted it out there. I had it. I had to put it all together at once. um, this really helped. The Palmetto helped me to bring the vision to life. But before that, I edited this manuscript over and over, and sometimes crying, and sometimes laughing, because I remembering those things I thought I had buried a long time ago. There's some part was so painful that I couldn't put there. I could not write them. I could not put them there. But yeah, that's a good question. It was long. I do like Parliament of Publishing. They did a good job for me. I did most of the review and editing myself.
So did you approach Palmetto directly or go through an agent?
It's actually direct. So I had contacted several people here in Wisconsin. I'm very traditional. I wanted to go to an office and actually talk to someone, but Palmetto is located in California. So I'm like, how can we do this? He said, yeah, we can talk, we can do this. And that's uh, that's how it went. So I think they're direct office. So you can just take the number on the internet and call them, and they'll contact you in a couple of weeks.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of palmetto trees in Wisconsin to name the publishing company after, but I could be mistaken there. Um, so talk us through the actual publication itself from the time you got an acceptance or notification from Palmetto that they wanted your book till the time you had a book in your hands. How long did that take?
So revisiting my childhood was pain, probably the hardest part. But how long did it take? It did take about, for editing, about 6 months back and forth. Um, but when I did the first draft, I did communicate with my sisters. I have sisters who lives in Kenya, in rural Kenya. So I talked to them a little bit, briefly about what the book gonna be about. That's it. But um, at the moment I held my first printed copy in my hand, it felt finally I've been seen here. It's been a long time since I told my story.
And I
And
suspect whether it's your first novel or your 20th novel, there's probably always that thrill that comes to an author when they've got this physical, tangible object, the manifestation of all their thoughts sitting in there in their hand. It's probably quite the feeling over and over again. So talk us through during the writing of this, just some of the, I guess, struggles along the way, because this does pull up a lot of your past, and you already mentioned that it was kind of tough revisiting some of those. So can you expound on that a little bit?
yeah, so there's a part where this part it actually gets me again. I do remember it vividly. When I was 6, and my mom has separated from my dad, and we moved to a rural area. So,
Luella, shall we?
Sure. So, as with all chapter break episodes, we've asked Olivia Karimi Jones to read an excerpt of her book. And Olivia, before you start, maybe just share with the listeners where in your book you're starting from so that they are oriented and can join in with us, okay?
I think it's chapter 6. Chapter 6, and it's it's chapter 6, and it's a flashback. It's not really like in itself, it's a section, but it was a flashback in the book. And and so in this chapter, just one section is like a little paragraph that I reflected this moment. And this time, so I can read, right? Okay, so she had studied life invisible and named. She was 6, and when her mother first took her to the kindergarten, she had been excited and afraid and unsure. Um, when they arrived, the teacher asked, "What's her name?" Um, her mom hesitated and then shrugged, and she doesn't have a name. Sura had been known only as baby, the nickname that her father gave her. It wasn't real name. It was just something that stuck. The teacher was confused, and she she needs a name to be enrolled. What's a name? My mother replied. And her namesakes never came. Her mother said, almost dismissively, so she never got one. Sura remembered the sting of that moment. And she was a child, standing there without a name, feeling like like no one, like nothing. You are her mother, the teacher said gently. Name her. And so her mother gave her name. Right there, on the spot, something to fill the blank space on the phone. That day shaped her more than anyone knew. She had studied life invisible, unnamed, and sometimes, even now, she still felt that way. So that part always gets me every time because I do remember exactly how it happened.
I can see why. And I can see why you particularly said feeling the book in your hands made you feel seen in a way that you'd never felt before, particularly if you have a memory like that, You're doing it
Yes.
yourself.
Yeah. Thank you for asking me to share that.
Yeah, so tell our listeners where they can find more about your book, where they can buy it, where they can find more about you.
So the book is available. I live in Wisconsin. Uh, I'm still a nurse. I work in psychiatric hospital. So if you want to find my book, it's available in paperback and ebook through Amazon, Barnes and Novels, and other major retailers. And you can also request a signed copy directly for me or follow me on social media for update. I'm trying to put that together. It's not really established, but I'm putting that together to see if anyone wants me to do that. I can do that. Um, yeah, and that's how you can find it.
So do you have any appearances or book signings scheduled yet? Or are you still in process of those?
So I'm still on process. I have few libraries here. They're interesting to see and scheduling it, and still I don't have much time. I work too. So I'm like in between work and everything else, but yeah, but soon I'll be visiting some local book clubs around here, talk to them. They invited me.
All right.
So
And
yeah.
we'll keep everybody updated there. So this time, I want to thank Agnes Patenaude, writing as Olivia Karimi Jones, for taking the time to introduce everybody out there to her debut memoir, Scarred But Not Broken. Thanks to everybody out there for hanging out with us in the Midwest Writers Room. I'm Ken Humphrey.
And I'm Luella Schmidt. Words ignite imaginations and spark change. Never underestimate the power of storytelling.
Midwest Writers' Room is a production of the Wisconsin Writers Association. Writing and editing by Luella Schmidt and Ken Humphrey. Sound design and editing by Ken Humphrey. Music for the Midwest Writers' Room was written by Michael Ramir C. For more information, please visit wiwrite.org/podcast. Thank you.